on behalf of the whole House, may I be the first to congratulate you on your re-election. And I'm grateful that new members will be able to look to you as they begin the great privilege of serving their constituents in this House. Mr. Speaker-elect, you preside over a new Parliament, the most diverse Parliament by race and gender this country has ever seen. And I'm proud of the part that my party has played in that, proud of the part that every party has played in that, including in this intake, the largest cohort of LGBT plus MPs of any Parliament in the world. And given all that diversity, Mr. Speaker-elect, I hope you will not begrudge me for a slight departure from convention to also pay tribute to the new Mother of the House, Diane Abbott, who has done so much in her career over so many years to fight for a Parliament that truly represents modern Britain. We welcome her back to her place. And now, as in any new Parliament, we have the opportunity and the responsibility to put an end to a politics that has too often seemed self-serving and self-obsessed, and to replace that politics of performance with the politics of service. So whatever our political differences, it's now time to turn the page, unite in a common endeavour of national renewal, and make this new Parliament.
The new Labour government began implementing immigration changes as soon as it took office. On his first day as Prime Minister, Keir Starmer declared that the Rwanda deportation program is dead and buried. The former government has suggested modifications to several UK visas and outlined its immigration plan for stopping small boats. Keir vowed to reconsider various measures implemented by the previous government, such as prohibiting students from bringing their dependents to the UK, raising the family income requirement to £29,000, and many more.
Sir Keir, thanks for talking to us today. Now, you just said that you are going to end the Rwanda scheme, flights and all. So to be clear, you won't schedule any new flights should you win power, but you won't cancel those already scheduled?
No, there'll be no flights. Every flight that takes off carries with it a cheque to the Rwanda government. I want to scrap the scheme, so that means the flights won't be going, and use the money towards the command, the law enforcement command, that I think is vital to taking down the gangs that are running the vile trade of putting people in small boats to cross the channel.
Just to be really clear, crystal clear, if there are flights already scheduled, will you cancel them? I mean, when you say, are you going to actually stop them and cancel flights, or will you let some fly if they're already scheduled?
Well, I think we need a dose of realism here. This isn't going to be a regular flow of flights. There'll be just a few flights taken off.
Yes.
If we get them before the election, and we may well do. But I'm not interested in continuing that. We're going to scrap the scheme. We're not going to schedule flights. There will be no flights scheduled or taking off after the general election if Labour wins that general election.
Okay, that's new. So you'll actually cancel flights. No flights taking off if you win.
I think the scheme is a gimmick. I'm not flogging a dead horse. I'm not prepared to do government by gimmicks. I want to start on day one, not with flights taking off.
Okay, but just to be clear,
by absolutely investing my political...
Labour campaigned on a manifesto commitment to cancel the plan, which has already cost roughly £310 million, promising to replace it with a more effective method of combating illegal immigration. At his first press conference since taking office, Sir Keir told journalists that the Rwanda proposal was dead and buried before it even began. He contended that the system has never been effective to begin with, since it would dissuade less than 1% of small boat arrivals.
Now our country has voted decisively for change, for national renewal, and a return of politics to public service.
However, the financial repercussions of dismantling the scheme, as well as the ultimate cost of taxpayers, are still unknown. The termination of the program also raises concerns about the fate of 52,000 migrants who have been designated for deportation.
You're sitting there with tens of thousands of people. But just
when
let me finish.
illegal migrants come to our country, what will you do with them?
It's
a very simple question.
Well,
I can tell people what I will do with them. I will put them on planes to Rwanda because they shouldn't be able to stay. What will you do with illegal migrants who come to our country? What will you do with them? It's a simple question.
His plan is
What will you do with them?
They need to be processed at the moment.
Processed?
They're not...
These
which
claims
means giving
are not being processed.
to be clear, will mean most of them will be given asylum. They will get the right to remain in this country.
At the moment, 100% of them are effectively being granted asylum in this country because they can't go anywhere.
During Rishi Sunak's government's final days, the plan was highly challenged. The previous Prime Minister made implementing the plan a key priority throughout his term, claiming it would discourage people from crossing the English Channel in small boats, even though it was suggested 2 years earlier by then Prime Minister Boris Johnson. The Rwanda plan encountered various difficulties and never saw a flight take off.
We have pledged €40 billion of support to Ukraine every year. We've established a new body to coordinate that support, agreed to ramp up industrial production, and confirmed Ukraine's irreversible path to full NATO membership. As I told President Zelensky today, NATO will be stronger with Ukraine as a member. And because of the generational threat from Russia, that demands a generational response. So we will increase NATO's focus on future threats around the world, with Britain playing its full role. We will continue to put our armed forces at NATO's disposal, maintain our presence in Estonia and Poland, lead the land arm of the Allied Response Force this year, and maintain and modernise our nuclear deterrent.
But now that Sir Keir has decided to completely shut down the plan, how will the Labour government stop the boats? The number of migrants crossing the Channel each year is not only a humanitarian crisis, but also a political crisis. Keir Starmer wants to demonstrate his ability to succeed where the former government has failed, by meeting with Europol authorities and presenting them with a strategy that he claims can turn the tide. And according to him, the only way to stop these out-of-hand crossings is by smashing the gangs that are running this trade.
Look, the Rwanda scheme was dead and buried before it started. It's never been a deterrent. Look at the numbers that have come over in the first 6 and a bit months of this year. They're record numbers. That is the problem that we are inheriting. It has never acted as a deterrent, almost the opposite, because everybody has worked out, particularly the gangs that run this, that the chance of ever going to Rwanda was so slim, less than 1%, that it was never a deterrent. The chances were of not going and not being processed and staying here, therefore, in paid-for accommodation for a very, very long time. It's had the complete opposite effect. And I'm not prepared to continue with gimmicks that don't act as a deterrent.
A new cross-border police force to monitor smugglers, a security pact with the EU to facilitate real-time intelligence sharing, stern language, and a promise to treat smugglers as terrorists by freezing their assets have been put in place.
Stan, we came here for 2 days of the Council to achieve a particular purpose, which was to celebrate 75 years of NATO, but recognise that looking backwards is all very well, but we've got to face the challenges of today, and it falls to us.
The Labour leader also wants to deal with the EU to deport migrants when they arrive in the UK. He accepts that this could include accepting a quota of asylum seekers in return.
More than 100 people boarded a small vessel and are attempting to make the crossing over to the UK. There's a game of cat and mouse on the beach here. And now you can see the packed vessel is about to take off.
Even when the Rwanda plan was on the table, the number of people that have come to the UK by small boats in the first 6.5 months of 2024 is record high. That's the dilemma we are facing. According to Sir Keir, the Rwanda plan has had the exact opposite impact. He announced that he's unwilling to continue with gimmicks that do not discourage illegal immigration.
I want to thank the outgoing Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. His achievement as the first British Asian Prime Minister of our country, the extra effort that will have required, should not be underestimated by anyone. And we pay tribute to that today. And we also recognise the dedication and hard work he brought
to his leadership. But now our country has voted decisively for change, for national renewal, and a return of politics to public service.
The new government has identified illegal migration as a top priority. The Labour manifesto promised to stop small boats from crossing the Channel by recruiting investigators and utilising counter-terrorism authorities to dismantle illicit people smuggling networks. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has made it clear that international students are one of the most important sources of revenue for UK universities. With that in mind, Labour might cancel the rules that banned students from bringing dependents. They also have plans to start reunification programs for families that have been separated.